Good morning, good afternoon, or whatever time of the day it is that you're looking at this. It's a very cold morning this morning, but I want to talk about depression for a few short moments and hopefully throw some lights on it. Depression has been experienced by most people at some times in their life. For some people it's a very short experience. There's an event or circumstance which is a wee bit tough to handle, and that person goes into a slump or a depression. For others, and it's the others that I want to talk about a little more deeply, perhaps a little more intimately. The others that I want to talk about is that they wake up every morning with feelings of depression. And what are those feelings? They're feelings of low self-esteem, low worth. Why can't they do what they want to do? And they go into a kind of a downward spiral. And I sometimes call this a black dog. And that stems from a metaphor which has become quite well known about the spiritual guru who says, you know, what's going on inside you? And he said, well, I've got two dogs fighting inside me. One white, one black. And then the guru says, who's winning? He said, and it's the one that I feed. And that's really what happens, that we get these black dog yapping in our ear first thing in the morning, and sometimes it can take over the whole day, and before we know where we are, this depression becomes a lifestyle. And that's very sad. So I just want to talk about that for a moment. And the evidence seems to be very clear that it's not the external circumstances that cause the depression, it's our thoughts about the external circumstances. And those thoughts will unquestionably trigger emotions. We have a thing we call the amygdala. It will release chemicals into the body, and before you know, wham, the amygdala is part of the fight or flight response, and before we know it, we're in a depression. So the idea is to really become more mindful about our state, and not to run away from these feelings, but to retrain the mind. The mind is only doing what we've told it to do, and that's when there is a perceived danger to flood our body with chemicals so that we're ready for fight or flight. But when it's for external circumstances that are real, then it's very worthwhile. But when it's just about thoughts, imaginations, what may happen, or just totally condemning ourselves from every conceivable angle, then this is really unhelpful. So the critical thing is to get help, to get someone that understands the basics of how the mind works, and so that you can learn what your real identity. Your real identity is quite different from a black dog or a white dog yapping away in your ear, although that can be our experience. So once we know the real nature of who we are, we can actually defeat depression, and we can live a life of victory and of joy. So this message really is to anybody out there that's listening, that's struggling with depression. You needn't suffer alone. Part of our skill set is helping people break through that. Mindful mastery will lead to emotional mastery, and we can help with that. So, if you have been listening, we thank you. And if you would like some help, then just give us a call, 091 871 904. Thank you for watching.